Well, it's better than work, for one thing. And about every 2 or 3 years, I make myself laugh. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes something just sneaks out before I can stop it, and I laugh. So I always figured if I got put in solitary confinement, I would not be totally without resources. I'd get a chuckle every couple of years. My wife, when she heard me, would say, "I know that's the silliest line in the piece that made you laugh." So there's that kind of joy. It's satisfying. I mean, it's satisfying to get something right. I mean, I think it's the same feeling that somebody has in building a house or something, that it starts out looking like a mess and just a bunch of boards and a hole in the ground, and then eventually you get it so that, never get it quite perfect, but as close as you can get it if you have to make a living. Well, the easiest is the verse, I guess. I always say I just put the shower onto iambic pentameter on Sunday nights, and that usually a poem follows. I think writing verse is something that some people can do and some people can't do. Almost exactly the equivalent of the person in the family. Most families have somebody who can do something like bend his thumb back and touch his wrist. That is a very minor facility, but an innate and perhaps genetic minor facility. I think that's what writing verse is. And so that's in a way the easiest. I mean, at times it's difficult if I insist on using some sort of form or following a song exactly or something like that. But usually it's the easiest, or once I have the idea, it's the easiest to write. And sometimes humor comes very quickly. And sometimes reporting pieces, sometimes it's odd because nonfiction, at least in my experience, sometimes it's like just a path in the woods. You can sort of see which way to go, and you don't have to cut out much underbrush to go. And sometimes it's just a thicket, and it's very hard to do, and it doesn't seem to me predictable what it's going to be. Although obviously, if there's a narrative in the story to start, it helps. I don't think joyful necessarily. I mean, there are obviously satisfying things, and some of it's just personal. I mean, I wrote a book about my father, for instance, and I wrote a book about my wife, but I don't think I'd think of either one of those as exactly joyful, but I guess satisfying.